Alright y'all, so here's a moment of truth. I went ahead and connected the power and the ground, and now I'm about to turn the key on. Hey Crusaders, Daryl here. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a new product which I'm going to be installing on my 1987 Mitsubishi Montero, and that is the engine guard. It's a product that is made in Australia, and this particular engine guard, it says overheating engine alarm. Now engine guard makes their product with either one monitoring system or two monitoring systems, and the one I bought has two monitoring systems. So I don't believe I'm going to be doing a whole lot of towing with my little 4-cylinder engine. So what my plan is, I'm going to install one on the water coolant side of the heat of the engine, and the other the actual engine block, which I'm going to be attaching more to the exhaust side of it, and monitoring the temperatures that way. So this is what we're talking about: the engine guard monitoring engine system, or I should say the engine guard overheating engine alarm system, made in Australia. And like I said, this is going in my 1987 Mitsubishi Montero 2.6 liter 4-cylinder. Alright, let me show you where I'm planning on installing the two sensors. So right here is my water thermostat. It's coming in from the radiator right here, coming down in, and they got the two bolts, one here and one there. I am thinking about hooking up the eyelet onto this bolt, and that'll give me a pretty good water temperature for the monitoring system. Now let me flip over to the other side of the motor over there, and let me show you where I'm planning on installing the second monitor. Right here is, as you can see, this is my exhaust manifold all in here, and there is a bolt that is right here, and as you can tell, it has a grounding strap to it. I'm not sure why, but it's a grounding strap. So I can go ahead and put an eyelet there since it's close, and I can just run it up and it'll stay away from the exhaust manifold. But there's also one right here, but then I have to come up over the shield and then run it along. So I'm thinking this will probably give me less problems right here, and then just run it up the same way as the ground. Now from here, I just need to figure out where I'm going to go in through the firewall, and unfortunately it may be behind the battery, but I will look all around and see which access port I might be able to get to. There is an access port. There is a main harness that's going through right here, and then this wire just was recently installed. This the wire that went to my starter solenoid, there must have been a short between the ignition and the actual starting solenoid. So my buddy Doc Martin, his son, was nice enough to swap out the new starter, and he troubleshot where he found out that the wire was the one preventing my vehicle from starting. Had the hiccups a second. So I think I'm gonna come in through here and run those wires through there. That way I don't have to drill any holes or anything in through the truck. I just have to get underneath and see if I can find where that comes through. Alright, so real quick, let's go over this engine guard. So of course you have this. This is all staying on the inside of the vehicle. This, as you can tell, it can monitor two different settings. So you have one here and one there. It's pretty simple. My buddy Doc Martin has one in his vehicle, in his Gen 2. And so the big deal is my dummy gauge on this doesn't really work. So I want to make sure that since this is an OBD1, I can't run a computer in it. So I want to make sure I don't overheat my engine. So this is the head unit. So of course you see this, it runs in, everything's tagged. This is going to be the alarm right here. So when you preset the temperatures, if it reaches that temperature, it's going to send an alarm to say, hey, you're fixing to overheat. So this, if you notice, this says sensor 2, this says sensor 1, and this goes to the 12 volt or / 24 volt DC power. Here are the wires that we're going to be going through. As you can tell, this is where we're going to set them up to the different bolts that we're going to hook to, and it has a nice little shrink wrap around it, little conduit. And then let me go ahead and pull this rubber band off. This also has some, oh, okay, these are just different plugs that you can use to connect the wiring. And if you notice, this wire goes forever and ever, and here are the ends so you can splice. All right, so I'm not sure if I'll use these connectors that's provided. I might just use the I got those solder welds, but the shrink wrap that also solders, so I may use those instead. But they give you plenty of wire. All right, and what I'll do is I will go ahead and when I bring them through, I'll tape them, and then that way I can figure out they can go through the same hole at the same time. All right, so in looking at the two different bolts right here for the thermostat, I find there's not a whole lot of give with this setup right here, and it's really hard to try and get this lined up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from underneath. Sorry about the camera work. Basically, I'm going to come from underneath, bolt it here, and then bring it around, and then tie it in to come around, tie it in, bring it around, and then go through the grommet over here. So that's the thought process. This mechanical fuel pump is all in the way too. So that's another reason why I'm gonna come and bring it this way around instead of trying to come this way and around. I just don't want to, this is already set up. I really don't want to try and bend any wires or break any wires, so I figure this will be the path of least resistance around. All right, leave your comments. What do you think? All right, so I got it in right there. Clean the threads off a little bit, and so I'm just going to bring it around the fuel pump and then get it tied into over here, and then just bring the wire, like I said, around to there. All right, so let me get some zip ties and I'll get the wire running the direction I want and go from there. Okay, y'all, so I got it there. I zipped it over here so it's off of the throttle body. Came up this way, got a little zip tie. This is a vacuum line, so it's not crimping it. And then I went ahead and zipped it right here for right now. And then once I run the other wire, I'll probably take this zip off and then connect the two under one zip tie. So that's the plan. All right. And then I went ahead, and you can see how long the wire is. Okay, y'all, so I went ahead, and as you noticed, I put it to this exhaust manifold bolt. That should give me a pretty good temperature reading since it's going into the block. I have it here, and now I'm going to run the wires up, do a little zip tie in here, and then work my way over to meet up with the other wire. Alright, so got it connected there, got it connected right here, ran the wire up and over, and they met up right here. Now I am bringing them down here along this power wire that I ran for this little fuse box here for accessories, and then I'm going to then put it through the grommet. So now what I found was one wire is longer than the other, and the short wire is for my manifold temp. Alright, got it started through there. Here's the upper view. Now let me show you on the inside. Alright, sort of hard to see in here, but I had the wire. Where did it go? There it is. So right here is the clothes hanger. So I might have to get a pair of pliers or channel locks and slowly pull it through. All right, there it is. The wires are coming through. So just did a little coat hanger trick, taped them up to get them through. I just used a pair of channel locks, pulled them through. So let me feed the rest of this through, and then we'll look at where we're gonna set up the alarm system and mount everything. All right, so we're at a point where I think I found the location. I'm gonna stick the engine guard here, and then I'm gonna bring the wires down and then either bring them through here or bring them all the way down and underneath to connect it. So I found it wants a power source when the key's turned on. Well, I still have a cigarette lighter in mine, so when the key turns on, it powers the cigarette lighter. So I'm going to tap into that power line, and then I just need to find a common ground underneath. Once I do that and I run that, I can go ahead and connect all the wires to the pigtail, and then run sensor 1, sensor 2, and then go ahead and screw this in a location that it's out of the way, but yet I can still hear it if I need to. So that's where we're at. All right, so I went ahead and took this center console off. There's a screw here, a screw there, and then one on each side behind these little pockets. So what I did was I tied into the power source of the cigarette lighter, because when the key turns on, the cigarette lighter gets powered, and it's the same fuse that goes to the radio also. So what I did was I said they really should have like a pigtail 5 amp fuse in line. So what I did here, I ran a ground wire, and then here's the power wire, and it may be longer than I needed, but if you notice, I went ahead and put a fuse in line, and this one is housed in a 5 amp fuse. I find these are easier than those little tube type fuses. So this, I just have to pop the top, pull the fuse out, put a new fuse in, and away you go, as opposed to unscrewing it and finding a little circular tube fuse. So that's where we're at. The next step is to get my engine guard in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it here. I have things that I can attach here that's going to hold the wires, and then I'll just run it down and meet it right here, and then I'll bring these wires over to also meet it, and then we'll just get them tucked away behind here. So that's where we're at, and we're almost there. All right, y'all, so here's a moment of truth. I went ahead and connected the power and the ground, and now I'm about to turn the key on. There you go. Pretty cool. So as as I'm filming, don't know if you can see it, but off in the distance there, got two marine ospreys flying over. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so there's the engine guard. And if you notice, I brought the wires down. Getting a little glare. So I have these little 3M clips. So I got one there, tucked it in behind here. And then there, right there, is the alarm. So if I turn the key on, see how it beeped? And now I have those. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and set them now. So if you notice, it's showing whatever sensor one is engine, the coolant. It's saying the ambient temperature right now is 65. So if I go to engine 2, that's the engine block temp, that says 63. So let me go ahead and set these. Alright, Crusader, so I'm going to go ahead and set my gauge. I'm only going to set number 1. That's the coolant temperature. I'm going to check and see what the temps run on number 2, because right now it's connected to one of the bolts that screws into the exhaust manifold. So if the exhaust manifold's running really hot, which they normally do, I'm just going to go ahead and relocate that to another bolt location. So we'll see what we can do with that. But here's what you have to do. You have to turn the key on. Yep, and that's the alarm that sounds. And it's going to cycle through some stuff. So what I'm going to do is you hit, there's 1, it goes to 2, it goes to 3, and then you hit set. And then that way you can go ahead and change the temperatures. So with this, if you notice at the very beginning, it was set at 221. That's what I'm going to set it at, because it says the safe operating temperature usually for this size motor is between 195 and 220. At least that's what the internet has to say. So I'm going to set it at that. And then so 221. I guess I could probably go 225, or yeah, 225. So we'll do that, and then I'm going to hit set. And then, like I said, I'm going to leave the second one off. So there you go. That's how you set it. And pretty simple install. And pretty cool kit. I know on my buddy Doc Martin's, it really comes in handy. So remember, this is the engine guard. And the engine guard's purpose is to prevent the engine from overheating. Alright, Crusaders, so I hope you enjoyed today's video on the installation of my engine guard for my 1987 Mitsubishi Montero. Remember, the engine guard is an overheating engine alarm system. And the one that I purchased that has 2 sensors. So not only will it give me a sensor on the coolant, but it will also give me a sensor on the engine block temperature, or I should say the exhaust manifold temperature. If I wanted to, if I was going to do a lot of towing, I could have hooked it up to the transmission or transfer case, but it's a little 4-cylinder. If I tow anything, it might be just a small, I don't know, the jet ski or something, which I don't even have, so I won't even be towing that. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and make sure you share all my videos. And don't forget, the important part is to comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Make sure you comment. And as always, God bless, and I hope to see each and every one of you on your own adventure.